He's America's Godzilla. Then on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by West Virginia SportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by West Virginia SportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
Well, I know this is the show you've all been waiting for all week, right? This is it. Godzilla Wins. Godzilla right here, schooling the millennials again last week. Bring your book bags. You're going to get schooled again. 11 and 5 ATS. Also, Coach Vince Mayako with us. Coach Vince, 11 and 5. Vince, we got the both of us are in the boomer range, and we got these youngins here. We kick their butt every single week. It's kind of embarrassing, Vince. I don't know. Maybe we should stop doing this just out of, just because it's like, maybe we should tie one hand behind our back or pick losers, for the hell of it or something, Vince. Vince Mayako.
My motto is speak softly and carry a big stick.
Vince Mayako with us, folks. Vince is the head baseball coach at Taft Junior College. That's in Bakersfield, California. You can follow him there. Also with us, Logan Powell. And, of course, we got the big backyard brawl game coming up today, Pitt, West Virginia. Logan's going to be there covering it in the press box. And back by popular demand, Kyle Carrington is with us. Kyle, great to have you back. It's been way too long, buddy.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. Ready to pick some winners.
This is it's good to have you back, and we got a couple people are missing. Chris Saxman out today. He had a loss in his family, and we wish him the best. And also Brendan Statler's not with us because he's at the game at the tailgating or something, so he's there. So we got all of our staff is out at the big Pitt game today. I'm live in Miami. That's why I'm not there. We have an event here that Ann and I are doing for Byron Donalds, who's running for governor of Florida. Anyway, it's good to have everybody with us. Good to have you all back. Big shout out, Al Green, running our production facility. Al Green in the captain's chair. Al, good to have you as well. This show is brought to you by WV Sports Nation. Go to WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. All of your West Virginia sports is right there. You want to follow the backyard brawl today, Pitt, West Virginia. You got one place to go, and that's WVSportsNation.com. You want to bookmark that, get that rolling and ready to go. Also, today's show brought to you by one of our founding sponsors here on Godzilla Wins, DraftKings. They got another great deal for you. All you got to do is go to DraftKings.com. How easy is that? Download the free DraftKings app. Put in two things, promo code Godzilla. Logan loves that promo code. Promo code Godzilla. Put in $5. You got $5. Look, Logan, you stopped at a Starbucks. They spent $9 for a container of coffee with a swizzle stick, right? I mean, come on, you got $5. You put $5 in. Logan's shaking his head. I don't do Starbucks either. You put $5 in. Guess what you're going to get back? $200 in free bets instantly. Doesn't matter if your team wins or loses. The game doesn't have to grade out. You bet $5 today. Let's say you take West Virginia plus 7.5. Boom. You got $200 in free bets. You can do anything you want with. Now, some restrictions apply. Must be a new customer. Must be over 21, obviously, to gamble. And the bonus bets expire after a week. So if you go on today, got 7 days to have some fun and maybe win some money. Again, DraftKings.com. Download the DraftKings app. Put in promo code Godzilla, $5, instant $200 in free bets. Now, if you have a gambling problem or someone in your family has a gambling problem, you want them to call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER. And our show is for entertainment purposes only. So whether or not we happen to gamble ourselves, that's our business. But you want to take this as entertainment. So 1-800-GAMBLER, if someone in in your team or your family has a gambling problem. Now, having said all that, great stuff. What an opening week of NFL football last week. And with these Thursday games, you kind of forget about what happened last week, and you're already on to the next week. Obviously, the Packers looked very good last week. I mean, on Thursday night. But guys, we just got to get right into this. We had epic collapses again by the same teams that have epic collapses. We had the Ravens. How do you lose that game with that lead, with that team, and Derrick Henry's carrying the football, outplaying the whole game, losing the final minute again? So another Ravens collapse. I don't know how those fans put up with it. Jets found a way to lose, as they normally do. So no change there. But I said last week, the reason I bet Tampa Bay, I said Atlanta will be ahead in the final minute, and they will find a way to lose like they do every single week in a close game. And they found a way to lose. They came back, they had the lead, and they lose again. I mean, if you're an Atlanta fan or a Ravens fan or a Jets fan, you got to be pulling your hair out. And then Seattle, look, I'm not a Sam Darnold fan, but and I bet Seattle last week. And I tell you what, I'm watching the end of the game because I got a winner. And I'm like, just don't turn the ball over, Sam. What does he do? He does what he always does. He turns it over. Niners win a game they never should have won. They had no business winning that game. So, guys, having said that, Ravens, all these epic things, somebody weigh in. We'll start with Logan.
Yeah, I think first I want to say that week one NFL was really good. A lot of really spectacular, fun games to watch. You had early slate games like the Jets versus the Steelers, and then capped it off with the Ravens versus the Bills. It was just a really good week one. And also the Thursday night game against the Commanders and the Packers just showed two really good NFC teams that are probably going to see each other again in the playoffs. But I want to start off with my favorite team, the Steelers, and I just think that was before the Sunday Night Football matchup. That was probably the game of the week. I mean, the Jets and the Steelers faced off and at the Jets, and it was just a really good offensive showdown, which no one was expecting. So who knows? Maybe the Jets are back. I don't know. Aaron Glenn had that team really inspired, run the ball really well. And then for the Steelers, no one expected Aaron Rodgers to throw 4 touchdowns. And especially with how bad the offensive line was playing, I think the Steelers are looking to have a really good year, especially on the offensive end. And then looking at the Ravens and the Bills, those are not even with question the two best teams in the AFC. I think you were watching the two best quarterbacks in the league as well, with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson was making a lot of plays with his legs. He was throwing the ball really well. It just came down to Derrick Henry, that untimely fumble, and the Bills just could not score in the second half. They just were on fire. And yeah, I think it was just a battle between the two best teams in the league.
Are the Steelers back?
Oh yeah, 100% the Steelers are back. Offensive line, terrible. Defense might be Swiss cheese, but that offense, if they can keep Aaron Rodgers upright, the Steelers are going to win 11, maybe even 12 games. Now, that defense, I don't know. That defense kind of scared me a little bit, and that offensive line, I wanted to pull my hair out. Broderick Jones on the left tackle. I don't know if any of you are aware, he is absolutely god-awful, and he's been god-awful for the past 3 years now. Former first-round pick from out of Georgia. And
Logan, he's not as bad as the guy that you shipped over to the Titans. He had a dreadful game.
Yeah, hey, y'all paid him.
What was that guy, Moore?
Yeah, Dan Moore. Terrible.
He got beat like five times for sacks, and he had 2 holding calls.
He's bad. So, he had one good year last year for us, and other than that, he was pretty mid. He's not very good.
Waste of money, Kyle.
I agree with Logan. It was a great week of football. I disagree that the Steelers are back. I think we'll know more when we see them play Seattle. Going against Seattle, they take away your first option. Aaron Rodgers had a great game hitting his first option against the Jets. He was 9 for 10 on passes under 2 seconds. So we get to see Aaron Rodgers play against a team to take away the first option and see what those receivers can do, considering they only have one legit receiver. Let's see if Calvin Austin can step up or somebody else could step up. But I think talking about the Ravens and the Bills game, it was a mix of some luck along with that. We seen Keon Coleman catch a tip ball on a 4th down for Josh Allen. Derrick Henry fumbles the ball. I mean, how often is that going to happen? It's just things didn't go Baltimore way, but I still think the Baltimore are the favorites to win the Super Bowl. Even after that game, they dominated for, I'll say, 35 minutes of the game, and it just
domination doesn't show up on the scoreboard. They got an L again in a big game at the end again.
It's
and
week
so,
one.
Yeah, you can sit there and say somebody fumbled or this and that, but at the end of the day, they don't win the big games, and this has been an ongoing thing. And you're dissing the Steelers. I get it. I mean, you live in Pittsburgh, so I'm not really sure what the hell's going on there. But look, I thought the Steelers, they always give. If you look at the Steelers' history, Vince, they always give 30 points up in the first game. Then the defense settles in. They get better. They happen to be my best bet this week over Vince's Seattle losers. But Vince or Niners, I think, is your team. But Vince, I mean, Pittsburgh looked pretty good to me. I mean, Rodgers looked pretty good. I don't know. I mean, they got the win on the road. Now they come home.
Yeah, if you're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, you got to be excited. I mean, it's interesting. You look at that game. Essentially, the teams traded quarterbacks, right? And Justin Fields looked very good for the Jets. He may have found a home. He looked really good. But A-Rod, I'm telling you, and you know what I like about the Steelers offense, which I think is going to best suit Aaron Rodgers, is when they use multi-tight end packages. That seems to be a good fit for Rodgers. And he does. He's got Metcalf as essentially his lone wideout, but utilizing the run game, utilizing that multi-set tight end packages that the Steelers would develop for Rodgers, it's going to allow him to have some other options on the field. Now, getting back to my Niners, you mentioned that they had no business winning that game, Godzilla. Well, they missed 2 field goals. They dominated the time of possession. I think they had clearly almost 40 minutes of possession time, and Brock Purdy with Kittle out, and obviously, we talked last week. I think I mentioned that there was a chance that McCaffrey could be out. Thank goodness he played, because without Christian McCaffrey, the Niners do lose that game. There's no question about it. But as a result, on Monday, the 49ers simply get rid of their kicker, Jake Moody, and now they've got a new kicker. But, you look in the NFL over the first week and plus the Thursday game, a lot of missed field goals in the NFL. And usually those, anything within 40 yards is automatic, put 3 points on the board at this level. But boy, kickers struggled this last weekend.
If you bet the over in that Washington Packers game, they missed 3 field goals in that game. They hit any of those 3, you win your bet. So that's why I'm not an over-under guy. I just don't, because it's like you miss field goals, you lose the bet. You make the field goal, you win the bet. And the one at the end was basically a meaningless field goal in my mind. The 2 at the half were kind of long. So we'll see what happens. But look, we're off to a good start. I thought Rodgers was a big story, obviously, last week. No doubt about it. I want to get to college football, and then of course we'll do NFL at the 10 a.m. hour, top of the hour on the East Coast, 10 a.m. Eastern. But right now, let's do college football. These Friday night games were kind of a thing that started, and it was kind of MAC teams or something, and you'd get them on a Friday night competing with a high school football Friday Night Lights, and now all of a sudden it's just part of college football. I mean, you had 3 major games last night. You had Colorado at the Cougars. You had Kansas State and Arizona. These are both Big 12 games. And you had New Mexico at UCLA. That was an offbeat game. But what is up with this Friday night football?
Well, let's start with that. What's wrong with the UCLA Bruins? They are 0-3. They got blown out in week 1 against Utah. And Utah's good. Utah's got a shot at the Big 12. Last week, they go to UNLV. And even though the score was fairly close, UNLV dominated that game. And then last night, you think, okay, their second home game at the Rose Bowl, Friday night. They played lowly New Mexico. And New Mexico beat the Bruins up badly. They dominated the line of scrimmage, and I was shocked. I mean, granted, we don't think of UCLA as being a football school; it's a basketball school. But come on, I mean, they're they're in the second largest city in America. They've got a great recruiting base in Southern California, and that's the product they put on the field. I mean, boy, that whole coaching staff is on notice right now, no question about it. I would be shocked if the head coach lasts the year at UCLA.
I mean, they got crushed. Wasn't I mean it was it was just embarrassing to be at home that way. And you're right. I mean, you're in Los Angeles, you're in Center City there, and you're 0-3 in the, I mean, they have zero chance now in the Big Ten. And this team with their schedule, they could win two games this season, or one.
And isn't it ironic, John? Their quarterback is the guy who shopped himself around, had a great gig at Tennessee, decides he's going to shop himself around, goes to UCLA, and he looks awful. You know what? You know who won that whole thing? Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee got UCLA old quarterback, so it was just a trade-off, and he looks amazing, and Nico looks terrible, and he's getting upward over millions of dollars, and I just can't believe that UCLA can't beat New Mexico. Like it's unreal. It's embarrassing. But
bad karma.
Off to a better game. I thought the Arizona and Kansas State game was very, very good. It was very competitive. We seen Kansas State go down 17-3, come back and make it 17-17, but they fall short at the end. But how about Avery Johnson only throwing for 88 yards? But preseason Heisman candidate. He was a preseason Heisman candidate who can't even get you 100 yards in the air. And Kansas State falls to 1-3. How about that?
Well, he hasn't really had a standout game in any of his games. So yeah. I think the Heisman talk is over. Let's go to the Houston Cougars Colorado game. I was gonna bet Houston last night, but we were traveling, and then once we hit Florida, you're out because you can't go to DraftKings on Florida. So I didn't have a chance to do that. But Colorado is just not a very good football team, and I think they got a ways to go. You got to remember, this is the first season without his son. In fact, he's never coached without one of his sons there. No sons. Travis Hunter gone. Big loss on that team. I think they're going to have a tough season, guys. What say y'all?
Yeah, I mean, this Colorado team, basically, it's like last year, minus the good players they did have in Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders at quarterback. The defense is still god-awful. They can't run the ball. The offensive line is terrible. And now they just have inconsistent, pretty bad, mediocre quarterback play. They're going through all their quarterbacks, and neither one of them are really working out. Yesterday they went with Ryan Staub, their longtime backup, and he just could not get anything going the first quarter was an absolute blowout from the start. And the score looks, a little close, 36-20, but it was just a manhandling by Houston. Houston's a pretty good team, but they're not like nothing special. They're middle of the pack, Big 12. They have some good transfers, but in terms of Colorado, I think it was more about Colorado being bad than Houston being good. I just don't think Colorado's going to have a good season. You might see them win 4 games. Deion's going to struggle. He's going to get a lot of flack in the media this year. But, it's tough whenever you lose such key players, like, not to mention them being your son. So it's tough. I mean, you're losing Travis Hunter, who was a top 5 pick, and you're losing Shedeur Sanders, who was a top quarterback in the nation last year. So it was going to be a tough, messy, transition, and it's looking to be like that. And I think that Colorado is going to struggle. I think they're going to have a little bit of identity crisis throughout the year. They're not going to know exactly how they're going to win ball games. They can't run the ball. So I think they're going to eventually go back to one of their top recruits in terms of the quarterback play. And I don't think Ryan Staub is the answer. So I just think that, and then for Houston, they could make some noise in the Big 12. I think they could, find themselves maybe outside of the top 5 in terms of, top 5, top 4 range and make some noise. But I think this is more about Colorado just being really, really bad.
Coach Mayako, this is really now going to test the coaching skill at the collegiate level of Deion Sanders, right? Because he's going to have to retool this team. He has an untraditional way of recruiting. So far, that's worked out for him. What's the long term prospects here for Deion, Coach?
You know, it's interesting. 2 weeks ago when they opened up against Georgia Tech, and Georgia Tech, you know, they're good, and we're going to see that today when they play Clemson. But I thought when they lost to Georgia Tech, it was a good loss, if so to speak. I mean, it looked good. Their defense looked improved. Yeah, they weren't as dynamic offensively as they have been the last couple of years. And then last week they blew out an FCS team. And then last night, I'm going in thinking, okay, we're going to see the former Liberty quarterback who was a starter, and then all of a sudden they're starting their third string quarterback. And it just was kind of bizarre to me. Like, I don't know, maybe, obviously Coach Prime, who might have second guessed Coach Prime, but obviously he saw some things in practices over the last couple of weeks that he didn't like. So he decided to start the third string quarterback, but they're not going to win with a third string quarterback. What I think they need to do, I think they have a 5-star quarterback, a freshman they brought in. I think it's the time right now, throw him out there and develop him.
Well, they're going to have to do something, Kyle.
So if you watched the game against the FCS school, they played all three quarterbacks, and Ryan Staub is the one who stood out. He had 152 yards on a very efficient game, and he took care of the ball. But looking at yesterday, he didn't take care of the ball. So it's just like he wasn't the answer. You can't judge by FCS game. And I think that Coach Prime jumped the gun by saying Ryan Staub's going to be our guy just because of how he performed versus lower caliber talent. He's not a Big 12 quarterback, and he's not the answer. So we'll see what they do when they go back to the drawing board. I agree. I say get a freshman a chance. What do you have to lose? Go with the young gun. He's a 5-star. Give him a chance to develop. Maybe in a few years he'd be your guy.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
Look, it's very early, but I think this definitely we're all in agreement. This is going to test Coach Sanders. I mean, is this guy a legitimate coach or not? We're about to find out pretty soon. Okay, guys, this segment brought to you by our great friends at DraftKings. Once again, you got college football, you got NFL. They got such a deal going on right now. Just go to DraftKings.com and download the DraftKings app. So all you got to do, put in promo code Godzilla. $5 is going to get you $200 in bonus bets. So you can bet everything. You can bet props. You can bet touchdowns. You can bet under. You can bet over. You can bet the spread. You can bet a money line. Doesn't matter what you bet. It's all there on DraftKings. They have promotions all the time. You're going to love DraftKings. It is the most fun thing you're going to do. $5 to get you $200. That's all you have to do. Promo code Godzilla. That's what you have to remember. Put in promo code Godzilla, $5, and you're going to get instantly $200 in free bets. Now, restrictions apply. You have to be a new customer. You have to be 21 years old. And bonus bets expire within 7 days after they start. So you can't hold them in there until the Super Bowl, right? You got to get in the game immediately. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-GAMBLER, and get them the help or yourself that you need. And of course, our show and our picks for entertainment purposes only, as you know. And we will start here with the game as far as we're concerned, which is the Backyard Brawl, and that is Pitt going to WVU. That's where Logan is right now. You can get all the action you want to follow WVSN. I'm sorry, you want to follow WVSportsNation.com. That's WVSportsNation.com. Everything is there. Now, 7.5. This game opened at 6.5. We understand some of their players are out, right? 2 of their best offensive players are out. Goes to 7.5. Everybody's betting Pitt. Everybody's betting Pitt. You look at the public money outside of West Virginia, it's 95-5, right? Nobody is giving West Virginia a shot in this game. That's why it's gone to 7.5. Could go up to 8 by 3:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff. I'm going to start here myself, and then we're going to go around. Before I left for Florida, I bet West Virginia, and I took the 7. Now it's 7.5. So if they lose by 7, whatever, but it's 7.5 right now. I love West Virginia in this game, and I'll tell you why. They got the crap kicked out of them in Ohio last week because they played a better football team. Of all the 4 teams that both of these teams have played, Ohio is by far the best of those teams. Pitt scored 52, 53 2 times straight. They played nobody. It's like us playing Robert Morris. So they haven't been tested. Now they got to come in to a very tough environment. Our defenses look really good. All we got to do, guys, is hang around this game. I say we. All West Virginia's got to do is hang around in this game, get to the 4th quarter, find a way. I think they cover, but I think they win the game, and I'm going to go right to Logan.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely. I battled between this pick for a few days now. It's been at 7, now 7.5. I just think this is a rivalry game. This is not going to be a blowout. Yes, Pitt's a better team. Yes, W is reeling with some big time injuries. Yes, they're coming off a bad loss against Ohio, but this is the backyard brawl. The Pitt's not going to come in here and win by 14, 17 points. This is going to be a close game up until the 4th quarter. W's defense is going to keep them in it. It's going to be up to their offense if they can match Pitt's offense enough. W's defense will keep them in it. They'll get some stops. I'm just worried about the W offense. How bad are they going to be? If they're going to be bad, depends on that because they play so fast. You saw against Ohio, if W's offense is struggling, the defense is going to be back on the field in a minute. That can't happen. They have to fix that. Where like I know Rich Rod wants to go fast. He wants to keep go to the ball, but if you're going 3 and out in under a minute, the defense barely has enough time to take a sip of water. So I just think that if they can improve their offense efficiency enough, then they can keep their defense off the field enough to give them some rest. But yeah, I just don't see a world where W does not cover the spread at least. Now, winning the game is a different question. Pitt's a really good football team. But like you said, John, they haven't played anyone. They played Duquesne and Central Michigan. So it's not like Pitt has had some tough schedule up to this date.
Hey, look, Robert Morris would beat Duquesne, okay? So, that game to me was a joke. And Central Michigan is having a very down. They had some good teams. They're having a very down season. They're now a MAC bottom feeder. So they didn't beat anybody. And so now they come in here and all of a sudden all this hype, they scored 50, do this. Oh, the defense has only allowed that. That would be like if West Virginia played Robert Morris and then came back and played Duquesne. You'd say, oh, wow, they're scoring all these points. They look fantastic. Well, these are not football teams at that level. So they're kind of scrimmages as far as I'm concerned. At least West Virginia went into Ohio a couple weeks ago, a week ago, and played a very good football team. Pitt hasn't done that, Vince.
No. And, you said it's 7.5 now and it could go 8. Keep going high because the higher it gets, the more money I'm going to put on the Mountaineers today. It's a rivalry game, as both of you mentioned. It's just hard to believe in a big rivalry game that is at home in Morgantown. It's not in Pitt. The Mountaineers are going to keep this within a touchdown. There's no doubt about it. I wouldn't call this a lock pick, but it's one that I'm definitely putting something down on the Mountaineers. You hit the nail on the head, Logan. And I know it's probably not really in Rich Rod's DNA, but if they can slow down, rush to the line of scrimmage, utilize the play clock, and maybe get the snap off with less than 10 seconds, at least if you do go 3 and out, at least you give your defense an opportunity to not only get a drink of water, but maybe to catch their breath as well too. Obviously, field position is going to be huge. Like any football game, whoever wins the turnover battle wins the game. And hey, you get a turnover here or there, you get a special teams play, and who knows? Not only does West Virginia cover, they got a shot at winning it outright. If some things fall in their way. But I think the big thing is rivalry game in Morgantown.
I love the 7.5. Kyle, you live in Pittsburgh, so we're expecting a different view.
All right, so I want to play devil's advocate here and be different than you guys, but I'm actually going to go against the public. I agree with you guys. looking at this game, if you look on paper, looking at the opponents they play, it looks like Pitt's supposed to watch them. But the game is going to come down to the red zone, which West Virginia has been 5 for 5 on red zone trips this year so far. And then it's going to come down to turnovers. Eli Holstein has threw 2 picks against nobodies. Mm-hmm. And against this team in this environment, I think that Eli Holstein is going to throw 2 picks at least in this game, which is going to keep West Virginia there. And I think that, like we said, every game that we talked about today, even back to the Baltimore-Buffalo game, it came down to turnovers, timely turnovers. I think that West Virginia take care of time of possession. They run some clock a little bit more than they have, and they take care of the ball. I think that they hang in there, and we see a close battle. They're not going to get a lot of offense. I'm expecting to see the scores low 20s in the teens, but all they need, 7.5 points. I'm taking it.
Yeah, and the thing is, Hustetler threw. I mean, everybody says how great he is. Remember, this guy threw picks all over the place last season, and then West Virginia last week against Ohio, against a very good team, had 3 interceptions in the second half.
Ohio will win the MAC. Ohio's going to win the MAC.
They're gonna win the MAC, and they actually have a shot to get in the play. This is a good team. They go to Ohio State today. This is not a pushover. That's a good football team. And we had 3 picks, West Virginia, in the second half. And obviously, as bad as they played, has a shot to win this game. You have to think that, Coach, getting 80 new players, you just have to think that if you follow math or arithmetic, every week you're going to get a little bit better because the players are playing together. You're figuring things out. The coaches are figuring who can do what. And you really didn't get that. So as you go forward, I think they get better. The other thing is everybody's throwing out here. Pitt started last season 7-0. Woo, 7-0. How great they are. They lost their final 6 games against, good. And they're playing in the ACC. I think they're going to get smoked in the ACC. I think they're smoke and mirrors. And I think we win this game. So take this 7.5. All of us agree on that. Okay, got other games to go to. I'm going to go around the horn here. One of my favorite games today, and you know where I'm going with this, right? Clemson versus Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech plus 2.5. ACC game. Clemson, the big daddy. They didn't look too good the first week out. Let's go to coach, the old ball coach here. Georgia Tech looked pretty good, getting 2.5. Looks like on paper, this looks like a trap game to me. Vince, what do you think?
I tell you, I've been singing Georgia Tech's praise since midsummer. We talked about futures, about kind of teams from the outside looking in, who has a shot of making the 12-team playoff. And I think at the time, Georgia Tech, you could get, I don't know, like that. I think they were like a plus 800 or something like that. And I kind of threw that out there and kind of maybe just pulling it out of right field. And then I saw what they did to Colorado in Boulder. They dominated the game. Colorado kept it somewhat close. And now they've got the mighty Clemson Tigers, who are not as impressive as we thought they would. Yes, they lost a tough one to LSU. But boy, their game, was it Troy last week that they played? They struggled mightily. And Troy was up for the majority of that game. And that was in Death Valley. I'm taking Georgia Tech. You're getting points, and it's in Atlanta. Ramblin' Wreck.
Logan?
Yeah, Coach, you said it best. I mean, this Georgia Tech team is really good. They are underrated in terms of just the overall scope of the nation, but they have one of the best coaches in the nation, and Brent Keys, Brent Pryor, I think I'm butchering his last name, but one of the best young coaches in the league. He's going to be coaching off somewhere really high next year. But with what Georgia Tech does really well is what they do really well. They run their offense, their triple option. Haynes King is a really good running quarterback, and they just keep games close. They keep good teams off the field, which is what Clemson is. They have a good offense. It's been struggling early part of the season, but I still have high hopes for their offense, especially Cade Klubnik. He came in as a Heisman contender, hasn't really lived up to it yet. And I just think Clemson always has this where they struggle a little bit early in the season. They did it last year, and they came back to have a really good year. And so far, it looks like they're still going to be struggling. I don't know. I think this Georgia Tech game, either way, you're making money, like you said, Coach. I kind of like Georgia Tech to win outright. I think that this offense is going to find a way to keep Clemson off the field enough. It's at Georgia Tech. I think that Clemson is going to continue to struggle. I think Georgia Tech is going to be able to find a way to counteract that and stay on the field and run their offense to the way they do. So I would go ahead. I would bet big and earn some money and bet Georgia Tech to win outright.
All right, so this game is it opened a lot higher. It keeps getting bet down. It was about a touchdown. It got bet down to 3. Now it's bet down to 2.5. So it's kind of like the Pitt thing. Everybody's on Georgia Tech, Kyle.
I'm going the opposite way. I'm heavy on Clemson today. If it was at 6 points, I'll take Clemson. I think that styles make fights. I think that Georgia Tech's run game is going to see a front seven that they haven't seen all year. Clemson has NFL caliber talent all over that defense, and they're going to step up big. That run style is going to get tested when they load the box, and they're going to make them try to throw it and you find some outside guys. They haven't had a lot of success on the outside this year. We're finding receivers to make plays. Clemson has great corners too. I think they're going to play a lot of cover 0, cover 1, leaving one-on-one on the outside, and I think that we're going to see if Haynes King can make throws. And I don't think that he's going to be able to do that against this Clemson defense. So I'm going the other way. I think that everybody overreacting to the Troy game. It was just a letdown game. They came off a big game against LSU. They going against Troy. We supposed to scrape them. We didn't look at them as a threat. And Troy just woke them up. And when it was time to win, they actually dominated the fourth quarter. So Clemson is way better than Troy. That's not going to happen again if they was to play Troy again. I think Clemson heavy. I don't think it's going to be close, actually. So I'm going the opposite way from you guys.
I'm going with Kyle here and Clemson minus the 2.5. This is actually my best bet of the weekend. I love Clemson in this game. They're just a better team. They've got tremendously more talent. The one thing that Kyle said that I agree with 100% and why I'm all over the Tigers here is Georgia Tech has never seen a front seven like they're going to see today. And so the speed of them, their physicality, they're not going to be able to run the football, and then it's over for them. And, you got to throw the Troy game out. The LSU debacle for them opening week, they didn't really recover. Then they're playing in also-ran. Tough to get up for the game. Now they go into ACC play, and here we go. So everything is going to be different with Clemson. Atlanta, look, it's a tough place to play, but half the fans there are going to be from Clemson. So it's not, it's a home game, but it kind of isn't. Kind of like Ohio game for West Virginia a week ago, where probably 1/3 of the fans there were the gold and blue. So we're going to see a lot of Clemson fans. I just think Clemson's a better team. So Coach Vince, the old ball coach, and I on opposite ends of this, we'll see what happens. I like Clemson minus the 2.5. Arkansas, let's go to the SEC. Arkansas traveling to the Rebs minus 6.5. Kyle.
I'm taking Arkansas plus 6.5. I love Taylor Green. They got a lot of speed on the outside. I'm thinking Arkansas, they're going to cover this game. I'm not sold on Ole Miss, so I'm going Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think I agree with Kyle. I'm not completely sold on Ole Miss. I think Arkansas is a good enough team to cover to 6.5. That's a pretty big spread. I would go ahead and as well take Arkansas to cover the spread.
Coach, old ball coach Vince, my option.
Well, I'm going to go just the opposite of both Kyle and Logan. I'm going the Ole Miss Rebels today. I think it's one of those things, obviously, if this gets into a shootout, it's higher likely for Ole Miss to cover. If it ends up being a defensive battle, then obviously just the numbers game. But, we talked about this a couple weeks ago where some teams with high spreads are more likely to cover because of just the way their coach coaches. And we're at 6.5 right now. I find it hard to believe that a Lane Kiffin team at home, against Arkansas, can't score one more touchdown than the Razorbacks. Take the Rebels.
In these games, in the SEC games, if you bet the better team, the majority of times you're going to win. And, Kiflin's going to step on the gas here. So I'm with Coach Vince. I I think 6.5 actually is an underlay. And I know you guys aren't sold on Ole Miss, but everything changes today when you go to conference play, right? I mean, we've all been there. We all understand it. You get these early games; they're different. You go to Troy, or you do this or that, or whoever Ole Miss beats 75-7 or something. These games are scrimmages, except if it's like Clemson, LSU, or whatever, Texas, Ohio State. But a lot of these things don't matter. Now you're going to conference play. You're going to the SEC. Arkansas coming into a hostile environment. I love Ole Miss here, minus the 6.5. Okay.
Simmons turns the ball over too much. He has 4 picks already.
Well, we'll see what happens. This is why we call it gambling, right? Coach Vince and I are laying the 6.5. The millennials there, or Zoomers, whatever you guys are, going to get your butts kicked again. You guys are taking the 6.5. We'll see what happens. Vince and I win our bet. Okay. Here's the most fun game in the card. Most fun game. South Florida goes to Miami. They're beating everybody. They're plus 17.5. Nobody has any respect for them. And all they do is keep beating good teams. And you're getting 17.5, and you're going to Miami. And this should be, on paper, this should be, a blowout. And it would be like, lay the 17.5 or take the 17.5. But what is going on with this South Florida team, Logan?
They've got lightning in the bottle. They have just found ways to win big time ball games. I just don't see how you don't take them here, at least to cover the spread. I mean, plus 17.5. I know Miami's a pretty good team and they're going to be at home, but South Florida, they're going to have a lot of fans there as well. Miami, they're a newer team, newer ball club together. Carson Beck, they're a good team. I think I'm high on Miami and Carson Beck, but I think South Florida's going to be able to ride the train that they have built on themselves, and I think they're coached very well. I think they have a very good quarterback, a very athletic, mobile quarterback. They can do a lot of things on the field. I just think that they're going to be able to do enough things and stay in this game to at least cover the spread. Now, plus 500 money line, that's enticing, but I think the smarter bet would definitely at least say cover the spread.
What do you think here, Kyle Carrington?
Oh, man, you're so wrong. Miami is going to destroy South Florida. So one thing we talk about is the trenches. Offensive line, Miami offensive line averages about 345. South Florida's defensive line averaged about 280. They had 3 pressures on Florida the whole game, and none of the pressures was from their defensive linemen. Miami has the best offensive line in college football this year. They're going to dominate the trenches, and they're going to take care of business today. Florida is just Florida. I mean, Billy Napier needs to be out of there. That's that. Boise State surprised me, good team, but Miami is a national football championship contender this year, and this is going to be a blowout. I would take Miami at 20.5. I'll still take Miami. Miami is going to destroy South Florida today, and it's going to start in the front 7. The defensive line as well. They're going to destroy South Florida's offensive line. You won't see that mobile quarterback get out of there. You're going to see him running around like Jaden Daniels was against the Green Bay Packers, and he's going to be running for his life. So
let's go to the old ball coach. What do you think, Vince?
Well, first of all, Kyle, 1-800-GAMBLER. Hey, USF keeps us within 17 points. There's no doubt about it. What they did to Boise, and granted, I don't think Boise is as good as they have been the last few years, but they absolutely annihilated the Broncos. And what they did last week, and you can say, Billy Napier and all this and everything, but that's still a team that has a lot of NFL talent on it, the Florida Gators. And for them to beat the Gators, they've got momentum. And I think it's fair to assume, I think we can all probably agree on this one. Right now, of all the group of 4 or group of 5 conferences, USF is at the top of the box, top of the heap right now. If the playoffs started today, USF is one of the 12 because they're going to be one of the top 12 group of 4 teams. I think it's one of these bets where Miami wins, but USF keeps it within 17. And if USF can keep it within 17, let's say they lose by a touchdown, 10 points, and it's quote unquote a good loss. if USF runs the table after today, they're in. They're one of the 12.
Listen, I'm with you.
So they just need to avoid getting blown out today. Keep it somewhat close. Keep it within 17. And we'll see the USF Bulls playing postseason football in December.
Here's the problem that that Miami has. They're playing a bunch of kids, not making any money, nothing near what the Miami kids are making, and they don't have a care in the world. I mean, they're confident. They think they can beat anybody based on what they've done. And when you're playing as an underdog with that level of confidence, they get a couple touchdowns here in the first quarter, and they're in this game. Miami's in a dogfight. And so regardless of the 17 and a half, I'm going to keep betting them until somebody beats them. They just keep winning. So, and then that's the other thing is, Miami, if they get ahead, they're going to start running the ball. This is not like Lane Kifflin, who's, trying to, I mean, Kifflin got on TV the other day and said, "Hey, I'm sorry we didn't cover the spread." Did you guys hear that? So I'm sorry for my home fans, we didn't cover the spread. Like, what college coach says that? I mean, he's dialed into that. He's like, we were 7.5, we won by 6, not good. I mean, he's trying to. Miami doesn't care about that. They get ahead big here. They're just going to run the ball. And so I love the 17 and a half. Look, it's not a best bet of mine, but I'm going to bet the 17 and a half and have fun watching the game because these kids are so confident. And, sometimes, what is it? David beats Goliath. So Miami, the big, mighty Miami. Let's see what happens.
One more thing on that too, John. I guarantee you, every one of those kids on that USF roster probably didn't even get a letter from the U. And they've got a chip on their shoulder. Hey, you guys missed the boat. You didn't even recruit me. You didn't even send me a courtesy letter. Okay. And if you don't think that plays a part in the motivation factor, just like last week, I bet none of those kids got letters from Billy Napier and the Florida Gators. And they got the final word last week.
Championship mindset. Miami on a different mission this year. I'm telling you, just watch out for them this year.
Well, let's stay with Billy Napier and Florida. I'll start off because as you guys go, I'm going to refresh my coffee here. So I'm going to start off. I mean, LSU -7 over Florida at home. I mean, you just can't bet Florida. I mean, I'm sorry, guys. There's something wrong with this organization. Billy Napier, they just don't win games. He should have got fired last season. He got another reprieve. Now he gets beat by University of South Florida. I mean, it's just very difficult to sit there and say, I'm going to take the Gators on the road. And, you saw what LSU did to Clemson. This is a very legit football team, very well coached, very well paid. I mean, now we got to almost bring that into every convo, right? Well, they're very well paid, and they paid a lot of money for these players. And you saw it against Clemson. LSU is a very good football team at home, SEC game. I don't even see Florida staying in this game. I'm taking the Bayou -7. Vince?
Yeah, how can you be on the Florida Gators bandwagon at this point after what we saw, most of last year, obviously so far this year. LSU's on a mission. They're a team. They're going to finish. They're going to be one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the SEC this year. They're going to be playing postseason football, playoff football in December, and who knows, maybe even into January. They're that good defensively. Are they, even though they are at home under the lights in Baton Rouge, are they 7.5 better than the Florida Gators? Yes, they are.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you as well, Coach.
Logan.
Yeah, I would have to agree with both of you. I think that this Florida team, there's no way you can bet on them right now. They got embarrassed last week. They've been struggling these past couple of years. Billy Napier has just been a very average at best coach there. I think his time has definitely been worn out. And in terms of LSU, this is Brian Kelly's make it or break it year. He's had good years, but they haven't really gone over that hump. They kind of teetered around really, really good. They need to be in that elite echelon. And I think this year is that year. Garrett Nussmeier is a very, very good quarterback, going to be one of the best in the nation, one of the top draft picks next year. I think this is an easy spread cover for LSU. I think there's no other way to doubt it. Even though this is at Florida, their crowd is going to be rocking. They have one of the best crowds in the nation. I just think that LSU is a way better football team at all three levels.
I believe it's in Louisiana, isn't it?
Oh, it is? Okay. Then even more.
Even more
Even
reason.
more.
Yeah.
And remember, it's also a revenge game, right? Based on they got beat last season in this swamp. Who didn't I call on, guys? I don't remember.
I'm the only one who haven't went. I'm going LSU as well. We look at this game. Florida, they got away from being themselves against USF. Billy Napier, he runs a classic pro style, simple offense. He keeps it pretty vanilla. Last week, I seen him try to do reverses and trickery against USF. He tried to get fancy. I think that he going to try to tone it down and just play straight up with LSU, and then it's going to come down to the athletes. LSU just got the better team. DJ Lagway is overrated, another quarterback who they came in talking like he was Heisman potential, and he's just not that good. So we watching DJ Lagway go out there against top 5 defense in the nation, and another playoff contender. Just like I said last time, Miami, it's just a different level of competition when you go against LSU's, the Miamis this year. It's going to be probably a blowout. So I'm going LSU. I'm taking the points.
Hey, John, can I jump in here again real quickly? Hey, John Gruden has mentioned that if he gets back into coaching, he would really be interested in coaching an SEC school. Does Florida Gators sound appealing to John Gruden?
Yes.
I think so.
Rich history.
That could be a possible destination for John Gruden.
I guess my question on this game is why is Florida 7.5? I mean, what's it even based on?
They beat them last year.
I mean,
and every time they play, it's close. And the history has just been a close game. It's just going off of history. Still early in the year.
I mean, I just don't see it. I don't see the 7.5 here. All right. I love the Tigers in this game. Hey, this segment brought to you by Rosie's Gaming. If you're anywhere in Virginia or near it, you want to go to rosiesgaming.com. They got so many great locations in Rosie's, Northern Virginia, in Dumfries, Roanoke, in Vinton. They've got Danville. They've got right outside of Emporia, Hampton Roads in Hampton, Richmond, right by our office. All over the place is Rosie's. Go to rosiesgaming.com. Don't forget, New Kent, and the final day of racing at the Colonial Downs meet is today. Post time is 12:30. So this is it. This is your final chance. Go to Colonial Downs today. It's going to be a beautiful day out there. Bring your family, bring your kids. Admission for kids always free. Win money, have fun. Just going to be a great time. And I'm going to one of my favorite tracks today, not Rosie's, which is not Colonial Downs, is my top 4. I'm going to Gulfstream. So post time 12:30 there. Getting ready to go after this show. Can't wait. Number 4 most beautiful track in the world. Big fan of that. And so Ann and I are going to be there this afternoon. But it's good to have you guys with us. Okay, couple more games before we get top of the hour in NFL. We got 5 minutes, guys, so we got to roll. Notre Dame at versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M getting 6.5. Vince.
This is a really interesting matchup. Texas A&M on the road at Notre Dame, South Bend, Indiana, and they're getting 6.5. Notre Dame kept it really close against Miami, Kyle's University of Miami, several weeks ago. Had an opportunity. Miami ended up winning that. Is this the year that Texas A&M finally lives up to the expectations? And maybe I should say this: they probably didn't have as much expectations this year as in past years, because when Jimbo Fisher was there, it was like, oh, this is the amount of money they're spending, the top 5-star athletes they're bringing in. I think this is I don't think I bet on this game. I could see Notre Dame winning and Texas and A&M covering. That's how I see this game. But this is going to be a good one.
I'm going the other way. I think that Notre Dame covers this game. Notre Dame is the better team every area besides quarterback. So if Marcel Reed could pull out some like magic, then Texas A&M has a chance. But I think Notre Dame dominates this game in the trenches. They went up against Miami, against a team who just was better on the offensive line than they were on the defensive line, and they let them run the ball down their thing. But Texas A&M won't play like that. They're going to spread the ball around more, let Notre Dame secondary, which is their strong point. They bring back 2 starters from last year, playoff team. I think Notre Dame dominates this game, and they win by like around 10-14.
Here's the question. When's the last time Texas A&M won a big game? When? Hey, hello? No. I'm going Notre Dame. I'm going to lay the 6.5. Okay, we got 2.5 minutes. I got to get to the big one. Georgia -3 over Tennessee. I'm going to start. I love the dogs. Why? Tennessee hasn't shown me anything. Tennessee's got to go out there and beat a good team. They haven't done that. I'll tell you the other thing. These games, Georgia's won what? 8 in a row. They always beat them, or 9, 8 or 9 in a row. But I tell you the other thing. In these games, Georgia is 8-1 over Tennessee against the spread, right? Georgia loves to beat Tennessee, and they love to cover the spread. So until Tennessee shows me they can compete at Georgia's level, I'm going to go with the dogs minus the field goal. Vince?
Yeah, I'm with you on this one too, John. I just see Georgia. I think they beat Tennessee by more than a touchdown in this one. I really do, even though it is at Tennessee. But once again, we mentioned some of these other teams. Kyle's Miami. We talked about LSU. But I think Georgia, they're in revenge mode, and the way things ended last year, I think they've definitely got national championship or bust on their mantra. Now, whether that happens or not, I guess we'll soon see. But do they beat Tennessee and beat them by more than 3.5? Yes, they do.
Kyle, you're it.
The last time College Game Day was in Knoxville, Tennessee was, I think, 2021 Alabama versus Tennessee. And same situation. Alabama was a championship contender, and Tennessee actually got them. I think that we're going to see repeated history, and Tennessee's going to beat Georgia. I think that Gunnar Stockton is just not an SEC quarterback. I think that he's not that good. He can't put the ball down the field. And Jesse Aguilar is better than what people think. I think that Josh Heupel finally overcomes his hurdle of playing against Kirby Smart. He never got him, but hey, it's any given Saturday. I'm big on Tennessee today. This is actually one of my high picks. That plus 3.5 look lovely, but I would take Tennessee money line. I'm big on Tennessee
I was
today.
going money line. Logan, you're it. We got to get out. You got 20 seconds. Who's your pick? We're not getting Logan's audio. All right, get your audio fixed there, Logan. Whoever your pick is, it's a mystery. But we're going to be right back. We got NFL coming up. We're going to pick all the games. Right now, my best bet.
WJFN, W224EB, 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB, 107.7 Bon Air, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFV Portsmouth, AM 1650. West Virginia Sports Nation gives you a top-of-the-mountain view of the Mountaineers sports landscape. See what's happening in all the sports, far beyond football, basketball, and baseball. Gymnastics, track and field, rowing, swimming and diving, golf, volleyball, tennis. More sports, more stories. If the Mountaineers play the game, WVSportsNation.com has it covered. Up-to-date and insightful articles written by Mountaineers for Mountaineers Nation. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com.
The best part about waking up in the morning is a great cup of coffee, and I get this every day with my 1775 coffee. It's rich, it's bold, best tasting coffee I've ever had. Single origin, farmed in Bolivia, 7,000 feet. It's always fresh, roasted daily. This is the best coffee you're ever going to get. Go to 1775coffee.com, 1775coffee.com. Promo code Godzilla, 10% off. It's going to make your day every day.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work. Try to see a doctor this week or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit, match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet, and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online fast and save $45. Your kit with prescriptions to treat common and life-saving illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla.
John Fredericks, your Godzilla of truth, fiercely independent.
No ties to Wall Street. I promote Main Street.
The John Fredericks Media Network, privately owned and operated, on top of the issues on air and online.
Trucking the truth every day for 14 years.
The John Fredericks Show drives your morning, weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern. The only independent White House correspondent with live reports from the White House. Hit johnfredericksradio.com. Watch at jfmn.tv. John Fredericks, your Godzilla of truth.
Who's going to stop me now?
Nobody.
Did you know that somebody could literally steal your house? Yeah, that is a thing that happens. It is when a criminal forges your signature on one document, uses one fake notary stamp, and then spends about $30, $40 with the county recorder. They then take out loans using your home equity as collateral. And the worst part of it is, you don't even know it's happening until you start getting collections and foreclosure notices. Most people don't check on their home title because why would you feel like you needed to? But this right here is why you need to use Home Title Lock. They have a $1 million triple lock protection that helps keep your home and equity safe. It includes 24/7 monitoring with protection immediately, urgent alerts in case there's any changes in your title. Then if fraud does happen, they have a US-based restoration team that will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title.
Find out if you're already a victim. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now.
John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby.
Then on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by West Virginia SportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh, yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
Oh, you're back on Godzilla Wins. I'm John Fredericks, your host. Oh, look who's joining us. Back from the dead. Jonathan Edwards, our editor. Hey, by the way, this segment brought to you by WVSportsNation.com. That's WVSportsNation.com. That's where you want to go. Anything about West Virginia, you want to go to WV Sports Nation. Not only that, Jonathan's the executive editor. Jack's the CEO. He's my older son. He runs it. We got 8 writers. We got Ivy. We got, Kyle's one of our writers. Brendan Stoutler. They're all out of the big game today covering it. We got photographers going there. We got guys in a press bar. We got Jonathan. We got Logan. We got them all. Go to WVSportsNation.com. Bookmark it. That's where you want to go, WVSportsNation.com. I'm live in Miami today, so I'm not there. I have an event that was pre-planned many months ago. Not that you're interested, but here for Byron Donalds, who's running for governor of Florida, good friend of mine. We'll see what happens there. So Ann and I helping him out, emceeing one of his events. Great to have you with us. And I'll be spending this afternoon at Gulfstream Racetrack. Ooh, post time, 12:30. Got to get the show over, get out of there. Got to make that first race at Gulfstream. So lots of fun things going in here on Godzilla Wins. Thanks for joining us. Our panel for the NFL, the old ball coach, Coach Vince Mayako, is with us, and he's the coach of Taft Junior College, baseball coach there in Bakersfield, California. Kyle Carrington is a longtime contributor to WVSportsNation.com. Go to WVSportsNation.com. Kyle, great to have you back, especially with the NFL going. Jonathan Edwards, one of our senior correspondents at WVSportsNation.com and our executive editor and roving reporter, jack of all trades, Logan Powell is with us. They'll both be in the press box today at the big game. I know you guys are excited about it. And Jonathan, don't know how you stand on this, but we all picked West Virginia plus 7.5. I think they're going to win the whole game. I put a video on it a little bit earlier. But now we're going to the NFL, and go to WVSportsNation.com. They'll be giving you updates the whole time. That's where to go. Guys, thanks for joining with us. Let me set the stage. Last week, against the spread, Godzilla, 11-5. The old ball coach, Vince, 11-5. Millennials and Zoomers here got schooled. It's a sad state of affairs. So let's see if we can keep this going. Also, I send my newsletter out early on Sunday. Just go to johnfredericksradio.com. You can sign up for that. I got all the picks right there. If you happen to miss the show or something else, it's also on podcast, Spotify, and all that stuff. Okay, having said all that major intro, let's start with Coach Vince because he's a 49ers fan, and he's all happy, yada, yada, yada. And they got a bunch of injuries, but now they catch a break. Anytime you are playing the Saints, you catch a break. I mean, San Francisco minus 3.5. Half the team is out, but they're playing the Saints. So, Vince, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fortunately for the Niners, they are playing the Saints. And fortunately also for the Niners, the Saints have their share of injuries as well, too. No Chase Young. So they have a few other injuries as well, too. No Brock Purdy. No George Kittle. No Brandon Ayuk. They signed Kendrick Bourne this week, who played for the Niners 4 or 5 years ago. Last few years, he's been with the Patriots and happened to be Mac Jones' go-to guy with the Patriots. So there's a little bit of familiarity with that. If the 49ers were playing probably half the teams in the NFL this week, I would be really, really, really concerned. But they're not. They're playing the Saints. I think the 49ers find a way to beat the Saints by more than 4 points. And thank goodness if they can keep Christian McCaffrey healthy. And that was the key, I think, coming into the season, keeping McCaffrey healthy. And last week when an injury report came out that he had issues with his calf, and all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And we saw McCaffrey last week. I think he had 70 yards, over 70 yards receiving, over 70 yards rushing. He's a two-headed monster. There's no doubt. So take the Niners.
Kyle Carrington.
I'm going the other way. I think Brandon Staley's blitzing scheme going against Mac Jones. I'm taking the Saints defense to keep this really close. Niners might win by a field goal or so, but I think that plus 3.5 is a good take. It's going to be a low-scoring game, and I'm going the Saints' way.
Edwards?
You know, I'm kind of in Kyle's boat. I think that just because Kendrick and Mac had a connection in New England, I watched it myself. I know what Mac Jones is capable of on the negative side. And I think Kittle being out, that would have been a huge help for him. McCaffrey might get some yards, but my big thing is, it's in New Orleans. That's always a tough place to play. They could be 0-15, and that's a tough place to play. But also, Alvin Kamara has a big game early in the season every year, and I don't know when it's going to happen. It's always on a random game. I think today is going to be the day he just runs wild for some reason. I think the Niners might squeeze away, but I think the Saints cover.
Well, I agree with one thing.
Hey, Jonathan, my glass is always half full. It's never
I agree with one thing that Jonathan said. They could be 0-15. That is a very real possibility.
It very well might be, but I hate that I'm doing this because why would I bet on the Saints? But I'm going to bet on the Saints because there's the pure amount of injuries that the 49ers are sustaining right now. It really I feel for them because last year they had injuries. This year they have injuries. And it just sucks. But at least C-Mac is healthy. I think that's, at the end of the day, that's all you really need of the 49ers. But I think y'all said it perfectly. I think it's going to be about a field goal game. I think the 49ers may be able to squeak away at the end with a field goal, but Mac Jones certainly ain't going to get you that many points. He certainly ain't going to win you in a shootout. So I think it's easy to take probably the only time this year I think you can easily say take the Saints for the spread, just because I think Mac Jones, I don't trust Mac Jones as far as I can tell.
Whenever you have the courage to bet on Coach Staley, I got to give you got a pair of big ones. I'll give you that. Vince and I are going to lay the 3. Okay, let's get to this. Is a fun game. Jacksonville looked pretty good last week. We all bet them. I did anyway. And they go to Cincinnati, who struggled to beat the Browns. Got out of there very lucky to win that game. Cincinnati minus 3.5 in this game. Let's go in reverse order. Kyle?
I think it's going to be a shootout. And I think in a shootout, usually you see a score more than 4 points. I'm thinking Joe Burrow put up a big game, bounce back from playing against the Browns. The Browns, not a good team, but they have a good defense. So, yeah, you got to have a good defense to stop Cincinnati, and I don't think Jacksonville has it. Travis Hunter is not going to be able to stop Jamar Chase or T. Higgins on the outside. I'm big on the Cincinnati 3.5 this game.
Jonathan Edwards.
Yeah, I'd lay it. I think Cincinnati, it's going to probably be a shootout. I think that Cincinnati started out on the road and B in a divisional game, and we know how Cincinnati is those first 2 weeks. But any other year, Cincinnati loses that game, but they won. So I think they're turning the corner on that part, and I think being at home, I've been to almost 40 games in Cincinnati. That is an insanely tough place to play, especially with Joe. So I think Cincy wins by about a touchdown. So I'm gonna lay it.
I'm going to go with Cincinnati minus the 3.5. I like Jacksonville. I like their team this season. I think they have a shot to win the AFC South. They look pretty good to me, but I think that game was a wake-up call in Cleveland. Tough place to play. They were very fortunate to win that game. I think now they come home, it's a different story. So I'm going to take Joey Burrow minus the 3.5. Vince?
Yeah, last week I said 3 words, Burrow versus Flacco. I'm not saying that this week. Hey, Jacksonville, they're a lot better than I thought they would be. And we saw Jacksonville, 2-3 years ago, make the playoffs in Trevor Lawrence's first or second year. Obviously, having Travis Hunter, there's some excitement with Jacksonville. But this game's in Cincinnati. And I have to believe that the Bengals win this game and win it by more than 3.5. Bengals, take the Bengals.
Kyle, Jacksonville traded up to get Travis Hunter. A lot of people raise their eyebrows over that. They gave up a lot for him. Did they make a good move?
Yes, they made a good move because you're not going to get a talent like that. He's a generational talent to be able to play on both sides. He didn't play a lot of defensive snaps last week, but I heard that this week they're looking to rev up his defensive snaps. I think they made a good move. He's a really good player. He just overmatched this game.
Who's your pick?
I took Cincinnati minus 3.5.
All right. Logan?
Yeah, I think this is an easy to take Cincinnati. I think in week 1, just the fact that the Bengals were able to come out with a win in that game should be talked about, because usually they struggle in home opener in season openers, and they also it's a tough place to play in the Browns. I mean, they have a tough crowd, and while they're not always the best team, their crowd is usually in it and loud. So the fact that Cincinnati was just able to win that game should speak wonders. I think that they're just an overall better team than the Jags. I think the Jags are going to have a pretty decent year this year. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a bounce back year, but I'm going to take the Bengals here to cover the spread. I think they're going to be able to outmatch the Jags.
All right. Did we all bet the Bengals? Was there anybody took the Jags? No, we're all over the Bengals here. All right. Here's my second favorite game on the card. My favorite is Pittsburgh, Seattle. This is my second favorite game on the card and my second best bet of the day. So I'm going to start. Buffalo goes to New Jersey, 6.5 point favorite. Looks easy, right? Buffalo win that big game, look like they're going to the Super Bowl, yada, yada, yada. Jets got beat again at the end, found a way to lose. I love the Jets in this game. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw an upset here, straight up. Now, I don't bet the money line. If I can get 6.5, I'm taking that. Over sometimes I'll bet the favorite, I'll bet the money line. But here, I'm going to take the 6.5. I think the Jets can win this game. I mean, they got a lot of confidence from their first game. I love their coach. I love what they're doing. I love their whole scheme. They were very competitive against Pittsburgh, had multiple opportunities to win at home, gave it away at the end like they normally do. But I think this Jets team is better than you thought they were. And here, this is just a letdown game. I mean, you're playing a Sunday night. You're at home. You come back. You have that unbelievable comeback at the end. Half the people went to bed. Half the stadium emptied out. Nobody thought they could win. They win that big game, emotional high. Now they got to go to New Jersey, playing a very good New York Jets-inspired football team. I love the Jets in 6.5 here. Vince.
You make good arguments, Godzilla. Great arguments. I'm almost tempted to agree with you. However, I don't agree with you. The Bills travel well. MetLife Stadium will probably have more Bills fans than Jets fans at that game.
100%.
So not that it's a true home game for the Bills, but it's definitely not a home crowd for the Jets. If that game against the Ravens were on Monday night, I would agree. But they played the day before. They get the full 7-day rest. And let's be honest. I'm sorry to say this, guys. The Bills are better than the Steelers. So with that thought in mind, the Bills beat the Jets and they cover.
Yada, yada, yada. Kyle?
Any given Sunday, we can't go about Bills being better than the Steelers or anything like that. It's any given Sunday, and I'm rolling with John here. Plus 6.5 Jets. Jets, if we remember the game versus the Steelers, they a kick return fumble away from winning that game. If they don't fumble on the kickoff, we don't see that. They actually cut the kick returner after the game because they felt that he was that big of a cause to their loss. The Jets going to run wild. You thought they ran wild on the Steelers defense. They're going to run wild against the Bills defense, and it's going to be another high-scoring game, but they're going to stay within 6.5. The Bills front seven didn't look great versus Baltimore. I know it's Baltimore, but Justin Fields and Breece Hall is a pretty good tandem as well, and I think that the Jets covered the 6.5 at home.
I think the Jets got something going on. I mean, that game, they played a really good game last week at home against a really good team. And I just love the spirit they had. So, but I've already said my piece, Jonathan Logan.
I think this is the best. Oh, okay. I think this is the best Jets team that there's been in a long time. However, the Jets are going to jet, and the Bills are the Bills. Let's be honest here. I think now occasionally it turns into a trap game, especially on the road. But I think it's going to be take the over. Definitely take the over in this game. But I don't think the Jets cover. I've got like a 45-30 Bills win. It's going to be nuts.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think the Bills' offense is going to run rampant. If you watch that Sunday night matchup, the Bills' defensive line looked pretty bad in terms of stopping the run. Now, Ed Oliver and the rest of them, they stepped up big when it mattered at the end, but Derrick Henry was running all over them, and Breece Hall was running all over the Steelers' defense. So I think this could be another game where Breece Hall runs rampant and has a big game. I think he's going to have to. I think Justin Fields is going to be able to run a little bit and scamper for some big first downs. I just think that the Bills are a much better football team, and they travel well, like you all mentioned. I think there's going to be a lot of their own fan base there. And I just think there's going to be too much firepower for the Bills. Give me the Bills to cover.
Okay, so it's just me and Kyle going with the Jets here on this game. Let's get to the next game on the card. Giants going to Dallas. Dallas minus 5.5. Let's start in reverse order here. Go with Logan.
The Giants are terrible. Russell Wilson sucks. Jackson Dart will be the quarterback by week 5, I'd say. Give me the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense is not very good, so maybe this could be a game that Mr. Unlimited throws some moon balls to Malik Neighbors for some big scores. But I just think Dallas's offense is actually pretty good. week one's matchup was pretty good. I think, the addition of George Pickens was huge. I think he's going to be a big addition to that offense. He had a couple catches week one, but I think he's going to have a pretty big role with them. 5.5 is a big spread, especially for a divisional matchup. But I think that the Giants offense is just not nearly good enough to put up enough points to Dallas offense. Give me Dallas to cover the spread.
Jonathan Edwards.
Here's the thing. I think unless CD just has bricks for hands again, I think the Cowboys run away with this game. I was really, really impressed with the Cowboys in Philly. Not only was it a divisional game, those are always close, but to go on the road on banner night in Philly, no less, and lose by 4, I really like what the Cowboys are doing. They might have made dumb offseason decisions, but I think, the Giants are bad. They're just bad. So I think I'm going to lay it on the Cowboys.
Kyle.
Cowboys dominate this one. CeeDee Lamb is 4 drops away from beating the defending champions last week. Dallas is for real this year. They're a serious team, even with the Micah Parsons trade. Getting Kenny Clark was good. They get 2 first-round picks, but they're a for real team. So Giants is just a joke. We're going to see -5.5 easy.
Well, you guys bring up CeeDee Lamb. He was so good at the beginning of the game, and he dropped those 4 passes at the end, cost him the game, no doubt. I think Calvin Ridley, who dropped 6 passes last week, 3 of them wide open in the seam. I think they should have a drop pass off and see who was. That was one of the most brutal things I've ever seen. You got 2 all-pro receivers drop 10 passes between them, all wide open. Unbelievable. Vince?
Yeah, I was impressed with Dallas. I really was. And you know what? It's what they call a mini bye week for Dallas. So they played last Thursday. They're well rested. Home opener in Arlington. The Cowboys win this probably in a blowout.
Cowboys blowout. There's no way the Giants are even in this game. Dallas looked much better in Philadelphia than anybody expected. They did handle the run pretty well. And as we just said earlier, CeeDee Lamb, one of the best receivers, and he had a great first half. He was catching everything. He catches 2 of those 4 drops. Dallas wins that game. So I'm going to go with Dallas, lay the 5.5. Hey, this segment brought to you by my great friends at Healthy Cell. Go to healthycell.com/Godzilla. You want to get a good night's sleep? REM sleep. I got a great night's sleep last night. Went to bed at 10, got up at 7:30. It's 9.5 hours. Who does that, right? But I need my sleep because I'm getting a little long in the tooth. Kind of like Vince, but not quite there yet. He's not, but I need a good night's sleep, and so does Ann. We travel with our REM sleep. You want to get a good night's sleep? You want to go to healthycell.com/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. You're going to get 20% off. Get your REM sleep there. It's in a packet. Take it 15 minutes before you go to bed. You're out. You're going to dream like it's all natural. Everything is natural. Man, you get that good night's sleep. You jump up out of bed. You feel like a new person. Get it for you. Get it for your family. healthycell.com/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. 20% off. And Healthy Cell, another founding sponsors of Godzilla Wins. We have so many sponsors on the show that have been with us, guys, from the very beginning and have stayed with us. In our business, that's very rare. And so we have several of them. We just want to thank Healthy Cell and their team for believing in us. And unfortunately, one of their executives, Tara, is an insufferable Seattle Mariners fan. So I love you, Tara, but I hope you guys start losing so we can back into the division title again. Okay, enough said about that. I like Dallas. Let's go. Okay, this is going to be a fiery segment. Okay. New England goes to Miami. Miami's -1.5. Now, you look at this line and you say to yourself, New England, right? They got Mike Vrabel. They got all this hype. Drake May. They were supposed to be that good. He was going to bring everything back. They had a bad coach last season. Some people just said it was a bad hire. They got this great quarterback. They got Vrabel. On and on and on. That's all we heard about. And then, of course, Miami gets blown out in Indianapolis. Sad. But yet, They're 1.5-point favorite. So I'm going to start and make it easy for you guys. I love Miami in this game. Why? Because New England isn't any good, right? Get it through your heads. This team is no good. Vrabel is not going to make a difference. He spit the bit in Tennessee. It's all this hype. No way that Miami comes home after that absolute trouncing and gets beat again. These things even out in pro football, these people have pride. If you read the Miami papers here, oh my God, the way they're dissing the Dolphins. I love the Dolphins here minus the 1.5. We'll go around the horn. Coach Vince.
Yeah, I think of all the games last week, there was one blowout on the schedule, and that was Indy just absolutely laying a beat down on Miami. All the other games are competitive. So with that said, yeah, I agree. I'm going to take the Dolphins tomorrow. In Miami, hot, humid weather. They're and like you said, John, New England's not very good either. So it's kind of a stinker game, but choose your poison, so to speak. And I guess my poison will be the Dolphins tomorrow.
Carrington.
I feel like it's common sense to take the New England Patriots in this game, just coming off of a blowout from the Colts game, the way the Dolphins came out of the show. But I'm going against common sense. I'm going with you guys. I'm going to take the Dolphins this game. It's no way they don't have the pride to just bounce back after what they displayed last week. I think they get Tyreek Hill involved. Also, New England's defensive coordinator won't be in attendance at a game. That's going to be a little bit different with a linebacker coach calling the plays for them. I think that Tua don't throw 2 picks and lose a fumble in this game. I'm going to take Miami as well. Think it's a stinker game for both teams. They both stink, but I think the Dolphins pull it out.
Jonathan Edwards, Mike McDaniel on the hot seat. What do you think?
Yeah, that's an understatement, and rightfully so. But this comes from a place of love. As a diehard New England fan, this might be the worst game of the year in week 2 already. And my whole thing is this: if Tom Brady and that whole dynasty couldn't win in Miami very often, what makes you think that Mike Vrabel and Drake May are going to? I love both of them. Don't get me wrong. I think Drake will come into it eventually, but it's only 1.5. I don't think they cover. I think it's going to be like a 1 touchdown game. I don't really care. I don't have any hopes for it. I'm kind of hopeless now.
So who's your pick?
I'm taking Miami.
So look, I followed Vrabel as a coach, as you know, as a Titans fan for a long time, and there's a lot of good things about the guy. He's a really good guy. He's a really good players coach. But here's what he doesn't do well. He doesn't make the adjustments. He just doesn't do it. He didn't do it with Tennessee. We had leads at the half and big playoff games, blew them all, blew that game against Cincinnati, didn't make adjustments there. He just doesn't make the adjustments. And that's why Amy fired him. And so we'll see what happens. Maybe he'll get better.
He'll get it together. I'm fully convinced that they're going to be okay, just not this year. I think.
And also, Drake May gets a lot of hype. I mean, I haven't seen it. Logan, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Drake May, I think he can turn into a really good quarterback in this league. I think this is going to take some time, but for the Patriots, they didn't play too good week 1, but the Dolphins really didn't play good week 1. So I just think this is going to be a game where be a snooze fest. I think this is a game where you can kind of, if you have Red Zone on, you can kind of, or YouTube TV, you got the multi-view up, you can kind of like put this game in the corner and not look at it too much. You don't have to worry about it as much. It's on, but you ain't got to worry about it as much. I think it's just not going to be a very good game. It could be like a 10-3, a 10-7 game. I don't see it being a very high score and a very good game in general. I think the Dolphins are arguably the worst of vibes in terms of all the teams in the league. I think they have the worst vibes going on in their team. I think the organization doesn't know really where they want to take the team. The defense is terrible. Offense, Tyreek Hill, does he want to be there? Does he not want to be there? McDaniels, I think his time is done. He might be fired mid-season.
So who's your pick?
With all that being said, give me the Dolphins in a close crappy
all right,
game.
We're all picking the Dolphins. All right, guys, we're a little bit behind, so we're going to have to speed this up a bit. Bears losing a heartbreaker, go to Detroit. Lions -6.5, got crushed in Green Bay. I like the Lions at home. I don't know how the Bears come back in 5 days after blowing a game where they outplayed them. Big win. I'm going to take the Lions -6.5. Logan.
Yeah, I like the Lions as well to cover that spread. I think they're just a better team than the Bears.
Kyle.
Bear down. You know I'm a Bears fan. I'm going Bears.
Never go against your team. It's very bad karma. It always bites you in the butt, and bad things happen to you when you do that. You just have a bad day, right?
Well, good thing I didn't put actual money on the Pats. I only pick against them when I'm not putting money.
You just don't go against your team. I'm just telling you guys. I'm 67. It never works out. It's bad karma. You end up having a horrible day. It's all bad. Don't do it. Keep the karma going in the right direction. I'd rather lose money on the Titans than bet against them. It's just it doesn't feel good, right? It's bad. Vince?
Yeah, but isn't that hedging your bets if you bet against your team?
No, because it sucks. It sucks life out of your soul. Don't suck life out of your soul.
There we go.
Keep life.
There we go. Well, I'm glad I picked the Niners. I'm glad
That's why I picked the Niners. Come on, man.
So in this one right here, the Lions win. Well, you look at that game, the Bears game. I mean, they just gave it away. But you really look at that game too. I mean, the Bears score they score a pick six. So offensively, other than the first series or two in that game, the Bears did nothing offensively. The Lions this could be a blowout. This will be the opener in Detroit. Lions by more than 7.
All right.
No way.
Rams. Rams -5.5 go to Tennessee. Oh my God! So, for the first,
we know what you're picking against the Titans. So let's just go
for the
forward.
first time in NFL history, a team got penalized more yards than he had on offense. Having said that, if Calvin Ridley doesn't drop 6 passes in a row, 3 of them in the seam wide open going for big yardage, Tennessee actually wins that game. Their defense was stout. You can't have 150 yards in penalties and win an NFL game. You just can't do it. Maybe they'll get this cleaned up, maybe not. But they're at home. The Rams don't score. Tennessee is going to keep this game very, very close. And I'm going to take the Titans plus the 5.5. Hey, look, I took them 8.5 a week ago. I won the bet. Vince?
Yeah, good point. Take the Rams.
Kyle?
Cam Ward is for real. I do want to acknowledge that before I take my pick. But Cam Ward is for real. He's going to be a stud. But I'm going Los Angeles -5.5.
All right. Jonathan?
Yeah, the Rams held C.J. Stroud and the Texans to 9 points. I think that's enough
Who are
for
the
me.
Texans?
Hey, well, I'm just saying. I still think there's still going to be some growing pains. I think they maybe spoiled the Cam Ward home debut, but I think it's going to be close. I think Tennessee covers, but I'm taking the Rams.
Well, who's your pick? 5.5. You have to make the pick or say no bet.
Okay, well, I will take the Rams.
-5.5.
Yeah.
Powell?
Yeah, I like the Rams as well. I think the Titans are just overall not a very good team at multiple different levels. Their offensive line's not very good. So they're going to get Cam Ward hurt probably. He looks very good in week 1. He looks like he can be the guy. But overall as a team, they're just not there yet. Give me the Rams.
Hey, look, we got Dan Moore.
Yeah, you got Dan Moore. Hey. Spend some money on Dan Moore.
Oh, my God. 3 sacks he gives up and, like, a holding call. Like, this guy's horrible.
He's bad.
And he came in with all this hype from Pittsburgh. He was going to anchor the right side of the line. Joke. Plus, we got injuries. But I'm going to take a flyer at the 5.5. Okay. I travel with MyPillow because I like to get a good night's sleep. REM sleep, MyPillow, throw it in my bag. He's got the greatest sale going on right now. Go to mypillow.com. MyPillow.com. $19.98. Get a MyPillow. You get the queen size, the king size. All the deals are there. Plus, Vince, if you want to get something for your wife, Tammy, quality of life, you've got to get the MyPillow slippers, of which I have on right now. In fact, I get out of bed, I come, Come out of the shower. I'm like, I got to get ready for the show. Got to set everything up. But got my MyPillow slippers right there. I'm not going to take them off and show them on screen because it's gross. But I got them on right now. They feel fantastic. Go to mypillow.com. Promo code Godzilla. That's a promo code. Get all the deals there. And get your My Slippers. Get your comforter. Get your My Pillow. Savings go to you, another founding sponsor of Godzilla Wins. Go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla, get all the savings there. Vince, got to get a pair of the women's My Slippers for Tammy. She's going to love it. They snuggle right up to your feet. She's going to give you a big hug when they come because she's going to be very happy. Let's go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. Okay, Cleveland in Baltimore. The Browns getting 11.5. Ooh, no respect for the Browns. Start with Kyle.
Baltimore, easy. It's going to be a blowout. Baltimore is the best team in the NFL. Even after that collapse last week, you're going to see it show up. Browns not going to muster enough offense. Joe Flacco against his former team, all the motivation in the world, no matter what. Cleveland has no chance.
Logan?
Yeah, I think the Ravens have the best quarterback in the league, and then the Browns have a 50-year-old Joe Flacco. Give me the Ravens in a blowout. They're at home as well.
Joe Flacco, 50 years old. Jonathan.
Yeah, I think 11.5 is a little bit, but I totally see the Ravens winning by 20.
That's what I was saying, John. It was like it's a big spread, but I'm like,
but
I see.
I understand it. Is the thing.
Vince.
3 words: Flacco versus Jackson.
I'm going to keep going with those 3 words, Vince. I mean, Cleveland's going to get crushed here. I would hate to have been in those Ravens practices on Tuesday and Wednesday with that coach. I mean, they got to be some kind of pissed off, right? I mean, no way they should lose that game and to just see it slipping away. And then, of course, for an epic fumble by, one of the greatest running backs in the history of football who never fumbles. Just a sad state of affairs. Give me the Ravens for putting a whooping on Cleveland, right? Okay, let's go to Seattle v. Pitt. Pittsburgh minus 3.5. This is my best bet of the week. I love the Steelers. Why? Well, because they're a better football team. Why? Because I believe in Aaron Rodgers. Why? Because, the Jets scored 30 on them. They're going to figure that out. Their defense is going to step up. Sure, Seattle should have won that game, but Sam Darnold, he'll find a way to lose again. Steelers at home minus, opened up at 3, just went to 3.5. I'm going to go with the Steelers. That's my best bet of the weekend. Steelers at home, laying the 3.5, win this game outright, handily. Logan Powell.
Listen, this is not the Sam Darnold of last year with Kevin McConnell as his coach. This is now Sam Darnold with Mike McDonald as his coach, who's a predominantly defensive guy. And I think the Seahawks are going to find that as the year goes on, that Sam Darnold, yes, he had a very good year last year, but I think he might struggle more that he's away from that system. So I think, and for this game in particular, I think the Steelers defense will be able to figure it out. That is not the defense you're going to see if you're the Steelers all throughout the year. I think that it was just week 1. There were some injuries at the line. Cam Hayward, he wasn't really playing much in the offseason. In terms of the spread at 3.5, I think that's a very favorable spread for the Steelers. I think they're at home. I think it's going to be a close game, a defensive game. Give me the Steelers in a close one and a very good game of the week.
Jonathan Edwards.
I think DK is out for blood, especially on how things ended out in Seattle. I think Pittsburgh's just a flat-out better team. The Jets are better than the Seahawks offensively, at least. So I think, especially being the home opener in Pittsburgh, give me the Steelers. Lay it.
Kyle?
I'm going the other way. I got Seattle plus 3.5. I think their defense is stout. They have a stout defense. They shut down San Francisco, gave up 17 points. Aaron Rodgers struggled when he had to hold the ball long last week. They struggled to block. Broderick Jones surrendered 3 sacks by himself. They gave up 4 sacks. I think that the defense is going to get after. Mike McDonald is a defensive mind. He's going to get after Pittsburgh, and Aaron Rodgers is going to struggle this game, and it's going to be more of a defensive game than you expect. And the Steelers' defense will step up. they're going to turn it around. It's not going to be like the Jets game. They're not going to give up 30 points. But I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, and you're going to see why Pittsburgh needs a wide receiver too.
Vince.
Is this a 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock kickoff?
1 o'clock, so 10 a.m. Seattle time.
That's huge. That's huge because West Coast teams traveling across country early. Basically their clock tells them, their internal clock tells them it's a 10 o'clock kickoff in the morning. That's a tough one. And I think that goes unrecognized by a lot of football fans. West Coast teams struggle with 1 o'clock Eastern kickoffs. With that said, definitely take the Steelers in this one.
All right, so we're all on the Steelers except for Kyle. He's going with Seattle. Carolina at Arizona. Cardinals looked decent last week. Carolina not so much. Cardinals at home in Arizona -6.5. We'll go with Vince.
Yeah, we'll go with the Cardinals.
Kyle?
Cardinals, easy.
Jonathan?
Yeah, the offseason hype for Carolina died in like the second quarter against Jacksonville, so I'm taking the Cardinals.
Logan?
Yeah, Bryce Young's still short and bad. Give me the Arizona here.
You know, we're all rooting for him in our own way because he's a really fine young man, Bryce Young. I mean, you just can't say a bad thing about him. He's a good teammate. He's just a good young fellow, and I just don't think he's at that level. And whoever just said that the hype for Carolina was over by halftime in the first game, who was it that said that? Yeah, I think you're right. Look, I'm looking for Kyler Murray to finally break out. Just finally, couple games here where he's throwing for a couple hundred yards, running the football. I think this Cardinals team is going to challenge the West, and I like the Cardinals here at home minus the 6.5. Okay, that brings us to Denver minus 1.5 versus Indy. I love this game. I'm not sure if I can watch it because I'm going to be watching the Titans game, but Denver minus 1.5 versus Indy. Let's start with Logan Powell.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of my best bets for the week. I love Denver in this. I don't know why. I guess the spread's still low because of how good Indianapolis looked against the Dolphins, but this is a different beast. The Denver Broncos have a really good defense. Bo Nix and company did struggle in week 1. I think they have a really big bounce back win this week. Give me the Broncos easily to cover the spread.
Kyle Carrington.
The sophomore quarterback slump is real. Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, they all looking like opposite of what they look like as rookies. I'm going to take the Colts. I think the Colts are for real. I know it's Daniel Jones, and everybody don't like Daniel Jones, but Jonathan Taylor, they got Michael Pittman on the outside. The Colts are a really good team, long as they have good quarterback play, which all Daniel Jones got to do is manage a game. If Daniel Jones could be a game manager, the Colts are good. I'm taking the Colts plus 1.5 at Lucas Oil Stadium.
Vince?
Yeah, take the Broncos in this one.
Why?
Because I think they're contenders for the AFC West. I think I've been singing the downfall of the Chiefs here for the last 10 years, it feels like. But I truly believe the AFC West is up for grabs this year, and I think Denver is in the mix. They're the better football team.
I think this one is probably one I've struggled picking the most just because I really liked what I saw out of Indianapolis last week, and it's in Indy, which is notoriously a tough, loud place to play. That said, the Broncos defense gives Daniel Jones a wake-up call, and I think Daniel Jones is still a good quarterback. I'll die on that hill, but I think the Broncos defense is going to overwhelm him. I think it's going to be a close game, though. I'm taking the Broncos.
I love the Colts, and I'll tell you why. I watched the Indy game. They're not very good. You guys are all singing their Denver's praises. Titans should have won that game. They had 135 yards in penalties. They had 3 turnovers. The guy got sacked. Cam Ward got sacked, 7 times? And they should have won the game. Denver just has no offense. Now, you can say, okay, well, Tennessee's offense is really good against the run. Yeah, but we won 3 games last season, and that's probably how many games we're going to win again. So in a very bad team at home, Titans should have won that game. I'm going with Indy. Something special's going on here. They got a lot of confidence. I'm going Indy minus the 1.5 on that, or taking the 1.5 on that game. Atlanta goes to Minnesota. Minnesota minus 3.5. Kyle.
I love Michael Penix. I love what they did last week. Buccaneers come out with a miracle at the end, big play, and Emeka Egbuka. He looked amazing. But I love Falcons in this one. I'm taking Atlanta plus 3.5.
Yeah, I like Atlanta here in this game as well. I think Michael Penix looked pretty good. He looked like he was throwing the ball to Kyle Pitts, which was a nice, thing to see. They've kind of kept Kyle Pitts at wraps his entire career. So give me Atlanta in a close game at the cover the 3.5 spread.
Jonathan.
Again, another one that I think is one of the more toss-up games. I was really impressed with J.J. McCarthy in the second half of that Bears game. However, short week, they are at home. I don't know. I'm liking Atlanta. I'm taking Atlanta.
Okay, the game's in Minnesota.
Yes.
Just so you know that. It's in Minnesota. Vince?
That could be a difference maker, but I don't think it will.
Yeah.
Vince?
Huge Michael Penix fan. I mean, he's got the it factor. But with that said, I think J.J. McCarthy has the it factor too. What he showed in the second half last week, and remember, this is a quarterback that led Michigan to a national title. But I think the biggest difference in that Bears-Vikings game was the head coaching. The head coach from Minnesota is good, and he can game plan. He makes great halftime adjustments. Being this is at Minnesota, take the Vikings.
I'm with Vince here. I went to bed. I bet the Bears. I went to bed a winner. I got up a loser. I had no idea how the hell I lost that game until I started reading about it. McCarthy looked like a very green rookie in the first half, and then they made the adjustments. He came out in the second half. I didn't see it, but I was reading about it. You thought he was basically Johnny Unitas in the second half. So, look, Atlanta just finds ways to lose games. It's a snake bit franchise. Until they stop losing games at the end, like in the famous words of who's the quarterback now for the Lions? Goff.
Yeah.
Remember when they were losing all those games at the final minute, like one after the other when they were bad, maybe 3 seasons ago, and they asked Goff, they said, when are you going to find a way to win a game in the final minute? And he said, when we figure out how to stop losing games in the final minute. That's basically where Atlanta is right now. Close game at the end, they're going to lose. So I'm going to go with the Minnesota minus the 3.5. Tampa Bay going to the Houston Texans, and Texans minus what are they? Minus 2.5. Vince.
I like Tampa Bay from the get-go. I think they're definitely the cream of the NFC South. But man, you can make the argument they should have got beat by Atlanta last week. With that said, I think Houston being 2.5. I think Houston can win this one. Take the Texans.
Kyle?
CJ Stroud, he's not looking the same. I'm going Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay plus 2.5.
Logan?
Yeah, Houston and Stroud, they struggled last year mightily. And, first week they looked like they continued their struggles. The Buccaneers, they looked pretty good. They probably should have lost, but they still looked good. Give me Baker Mayfield in a close one. So give me the Tampa Bay to cover.
Vince? Or I'm sorry, Jonathan?
Yeah, I'm so incredibly high on the Bucs this year. And I know they didn't have the best game against Atlanta, but Egbuka, as a rookie receiver, 2 touchdowns, one of them coming in the final minute. I'm super high on that. I think Baker's awesome. I mean, you have Evans still. You got a whole crew there. I'm taking the Bucs over the Texans.
At some point, I'm going to go with Vince on those 3 words. Mayfield versus Stroud. I don't think there's any doubt. Stroud, if you look at this kid Stroud, he really struggled at the back half of the season, guys. He really struggled. And I didn't see a difference last Sunday. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay. I'm going to keep betting Tampa Bay until they lose, because Baker Mayfield wins these close games. I don't know how the guy does. He's been doing it forever. Doesn't matter, college, Canadian football, I don't care where he is. He wins these close games. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay, and I'm going to take the 2.5. Here's one of my favorite games on the schedule. Chargers, the Bolts, -3.5. Vegas. What a fun game. What a fun game. And I don't like Pete Carroll's politics, as you guys know. But I do love his coaching because the guy wins no matter where he goes. Let's start with another coach, Coach Vince. What do you think here, Vince?
Well, I see where you're going with this, but remember, Jim Harbaugh can coach
That's
too.
true.
And I think there's something going on with the Chargers. I really do. I see this team. I talked about before about the Chiefs not as dominant as they have been in years past. I had mentioned the Broncos, but I from day one, I think in the summer when we made predictions, my long shot of making the Super Bowl was the Chargers. And why would I change now? They beat in week one, beat the Chiefs. They're in Vegas, and let's be honest. I mean, granted, the Chargers don't have a huge fan following, but playing in Vegas is almost like a neutral site to a certain extent. Close game. And remember, these are coaching rivals. USC and Stanford back in the day, Harbaugh versus Pete Carroll. Niners and Seahawks, Carroll versus Harbaugh. Here we go, 3.0. And this time, Harbaugh gets Carroll.
Back in April, Chris Saxman asked me what was my sleeper team in the NFL. And everybody looked at me crazy when I said the Los Angeles Chargers were going to win the AFC West. So I predicted this a long time ago. I'm with Vince. I think that the AFC West is wide open. The Chargers are going to win the AFC West. They're going to win this game by more than 4. And, I mean, Justin Herbert, it's the year where he puts it all together because he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL.
Edwards?
Yeah, I think the Raiders I think Geno had a great debut, and I think Pete Carroll coached a good game on the road in New England, but again, against New England. However, I think the Chargers, if Joe Alt and the crew gives Herbert a pocket, they're dropping 30 points. So if they can protect him from Max Crosby, yeah, they're going to have a field day in Vegas. I've got the Chargers.
Logan Powell.
Yeah, the Chargers looked really good in week 1 against the Chiefs, and they show that they have maybe beat their allegations of previous years, not selling in late games, Justin Herbert being the best hypothetical quarterback in the world. I think this could finally be the year that the quote-unquote hypothetical best quarterback in the league, Justin Herbert, could actually be one of the top quarterbacks in the league. He showed really good poise in the pocket. Offense looked really good. Give me the Chargers in a really good game. Give them to easily cover.
Well, I love Vegas in this game. There's something special that they got going on there. And look, I know the hype about the Chargers, but a lot of these times you play these big games. They went in, where did they go? Brazil or something. They beat Kansas City. It's a big game. They come home. They get another couple of days. Everything points here to the Chargers. They look so good. But you're overlooking this Raiders team. And Pete Carroll finds a way in these rivalries. He just finds a way to win these games. And so I think the Raiders are one of the sleeper teams. I know you mentioned the Chargers early on, Kyle, but I love Las Vegas here at home, taken to 3.5. I think they win this game, and they send a message that, hey, we're not going to be stepped on. We're not the doormat, and you guys are going to come in here to Vegas. You're going to have to beat us, and you're going to have to bring your A game. And I think that's what you're going to see Sunday. So I love Vegas. Okay, let's get to the big one, and then we'll recap our best bets. Well, we're not going to have time for that. We got 5 minutes. Here's the big one. Philadelphia, Super Bowl rematch, -1.5. Kansas City off that stinker in Brazil against the Chargers. That was a stinker game. We'll just go right around the horn and start with the old ball coach.
Well, I'm going to give you the winner of this game, and I'm also going to give you my two picks, one college, one pro. I'm going Eagles in this one. I keep saying this is the Chiefs' down year, downward trend. So why wouldn't I go with the defending champions? So take the Eagles. That is also my lock of the week in the NFL. My lock in college my background in honor of the late, great Charlie Kirk, who was a huge Oregon Ducks fan. I'm taking the Ducks minus 27.5 at Northwestern. This is going to be a freaking blowout. All right. So there's my two locks, Eagles and Ducks.
Eagles and Ducks. And you like the, you said you like the Eagles in this game. Okay. Give me your pick on the game, Kyle, and your two bets.
I'm taking the Eagles as well, defending champs. I didn't like what I seen from Kansas City in week 1, so I'm going Eagles. My best bet for this week would be Ravens minus 11.5. I know it's a big spread, but I just know they're going to blow out the Browns. And then my best bet in college is, I know all you guys are against me, but Miami minus 17.5.
Okay, there you go, Jonathan Edwards.
Yeah, I'll take the Eagles. I know Mahomes in the regular season 89-24 Arrowhead, and it's a tough place to play. But the Eagles, even though they looked ugly last week, they're the reigning champs. And I think with no Worthy or Rice, I've got the Eagles having a nice night in Arrowhead. My lock of the week, I'm taking the Bengals over the Jags. And then I'm actually going to throw a bit of a curveball. I'm taking the Tennessee money line today in college. So I've got the Vols plus 150 over Georgia.
I'm with you, Jonathan.
Fun.
I'm with
Logan,
you, Jonathan.
Let's go, Logan.
I like the Eagles in this matchup. I think they look to be similar to last year. Just a really good team in the trenches, going to dominate on the offensive line and the defensive line. And then Jalen Hurts is going to do just enough to win them the ball game. Saquon Barkley going to do his thing. So give me Philly in a close game to cover. And then my two locks in terms of NFL. We had some disagreements about it, but I got Denver minus 1.5 against Indianapolis. I just think that Denver is a much better football team than the Colts. I think that Danny Dimes is going to have a letdown this week. And then since Coach took my Oregon pick, I'll switch it up. I'll go with another blowout. I'll go with TCU over Abilene Christian minus 37.5. I think it's going to be a continuing factor of just really good teams beating up on the really bad teams and just, no regrets, just going in there and just taking care of business.
All right, I got a minute and a half. Jay Delsing show next. I love the Eagles in this game. I'm with Coach Vince here. I think you saw Kansas City a little bit exposed in Brazil. I think the throne is no longer theirs, and I think they're going to struggle. And the Eagles are going to win this game. The Eagles are going to prove they're the Super Bowl team. So I love the Eagles. All right, I got 4 bets, 2 in college. Number 1, I love Clemson minus 2.5. They're simply a better team. They're going to beat Tech. Here's one best bet in college. Okay, I got a couple more seconds here. Iowa minus 35 over the Massachusetts Minutemen. Now you say, well, how would you do that? Iowa doesn't score. Okay, Massachusetts should not have a football team. It should be a club team. It should be on a club level. I mean, the weight difference here is about 70 pounds per lineman. These games shouldn't even be on the schedule. Shame on Iowa for scheduling them. This game's a blowout. Lay the 35. Best bets on Sunday. Steelers minus 3.5. This team's going to the Super Bowl, right? I don't care what anybody says. They're going to the Super Bowl, and they're going to keep winning. I love the Steelers. And my second best bet, I'm betting a fish after getting blown out 38-8. And you read the Miami papers here, and they've written them off for dead. McDaniels got fired. The whole team's up.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
Welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing with Jay